In the scripture readings for this weekend, Jesus tells us how difficult the things might be if we really try to get involved with him. And so what does he do? He points to the temple in Jerusalem. You have to understand that it was a magnificent temple, which took many, many years to build. And so it became the pride of the Jewish people. It was a symbol of their unity and their togetherness, which was the keystone, of course, of the Jewish community at that time. But Jesus stood there in front of them, and he predicted its destruction. It was not a very popular stand to take. It took courage on his part, for he was dealing with a very emotional and sensitive issue. He tried to prepare the people for that terrible moment of its destruction. What he wanted them to do was to realize that this destruction should not undercut their faith in God. And of those who heard him, some held to their own beliefs because the message was just too difficult to comprehend. But others were responsive to him. And those for us are our forefathers. Jesus tells them that being a Christian is not always easy. Okay? He tells us about the arrogant who, due to their pride, will not bend to his message, and they make it very difficult for those who try to do that. He tells about the evildoers who do injury and harm, not only to themselves, but also to those around them. He tells us about those whose money, desires, and ambitions cloud their judgment and make them feel a need to impose their opinions on others. He tells us about those people whose lives are filled with idleness. They never have the time to take seriously help or even share their gifts and their talents with others. In fact, they even sometimes look upon the dedicated as just foolish and unrealistic. Yet the message of Jesus Christ, which at the times can seem so fragile, has the power to prevail in the end. We are reminded that the time that we are given in this life is very precious, that God gives us this gift of life to embrace and be embraced by the love that is uniquely of God himself. Jesus calls us not to be obsessed with the stones that will one day collapse and become dust, but rather to instead seek the lasting things of God. In every life, there are moments of greatness and moments of disappointment. Let the words of Christ in the gospel passage which Deacon Peter read for us, give us encouragement. By patient endurance, you will save your lives.